Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. We are talking about President Biden mandating vaccines for American workers. We have as our guest Dr. John Weil. He is the MTSU political science professor. He's also dean of the Honors College. You see the picture there on the Zoom right there behind him, the Honors College. And we're going to start taking calls now. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Rob. Hello, Rob.
Yes, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. As I know a lot of people's touched on that, they're mandating everybody's got to take the vaccination. If you got a job, you got to take a vaccination. I don't care if it was Trump or whoever. I am not Republican. I'm not Democrat. But we got all these coming across the border, and they're not mandating anything there. We got the refugees coming from Afghanistan. I'm not condemning that. That's, better life for them. But I've seen a picture of all these immigrants on the airplane with no mask. I'm like, well, I kind of call it like I see it. Yeah, are we, what do you call it? Speaking with a forked tongue, as my dad used to say. And I think what a lot of people is trying to figure out, they're getting irritated with it, is back when the vaccination come out, it's like, vaccinate, you ain't got to wear a mask. Then it went from, you got to wear a mask, 2 masks, 1 vac, 2 vac, 3 vaccinations. And if the mask works and I don't want to wear one and you're wearing one, if the mask works, and you want to wear it, why should I have to wear it? And I'm going to leave it alone at that. Like I say, if the mask works that good, hey, wear it. If you don't like it, don't wear it. Thank y'all very much. Love everybody. Y'all take care.
Rob, thank you. Rob's hitting on several things there in a very polite way. Immigrants, that's, I guess, part of this for some people. I guess, what do you think about some of the things Rob brought up there?
Well, first of all, in terms of whether they're wearing masks on planes, as I understand it, Biden hasn't mandated that yet. We talked about he might be able to under interstate commerce. I don't think that most, obviously this coronavirus didn't originate in the United States, but I don't think there's, you have states with very few immigrants that the primary determinant of the number of people with COVID right now seem to be vaccination rates, and maybe to some extent mask wearing. I have some appreciation for what Rob says about the mandate sort of changing. And I think the answer is, politicians particularly, if you have good news, you want to get it out there. And, I think there was a strong belief that if enough people got vaccinated, then we wouldn't have to worry about masks. And of course, one of the problems is masks are in some respects a response to the fact that we don't know who is vaccinated. And I suppose it's in some ways it's less intrusive to tell people they should wear a mask than to say you can't come into the premises unless you have a vaccine. So, I've been vaccinated, but you don't know that until you see the proof of it. And so if you see me wearing a mask, you're probably going to feel safer about me than if you do not.
And there is frustration, I guess, that things have changed, but this is an evolving sort of thing. It's a new virus.
Right.
And but when I hear people bring that up, that have concerns about things, they're bringing it up as if things are changing because this is all sort of manufactured. They're not thinking that we're getting new information and so we're having to adjust to the new information we're getting. They're thinking they want to control us. The government wants to control us. They are using this to control us. And why is everything changing the way it's changed? And so again, it's that mistrust of the government that's at the heart of this. And we're right. What about that?
No, I think that's right. I mean, I think it is an indication of a deeper issue, which is, and almost every politician, that's how we run, right? We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to, sweep corruption out. Both sides use this rhetoric. And we sort of, when it comes to fundraising, sometimes the appeals against the devil seem to get more appeals than those to heaven. And so, we demonize one another, and then we wonder why we disagree.
You're right. There aren't many fundraising letters that talk about their 9-point plan to make schools better. It's more about how so-and-so is terrible.
Warren, but she wasn't elected president.
Yeah. Now, let's take another call here. We have Linda, I believe, who was on the line earlier. Linda, are you there?
Yes.
Go right ahead, Linda. Go right ahead.
The people that refuse to get vaccines and wear masks and all that are usually, most of them are from the states that have the most illness and death. They didn't have a problem when the orange idiot told them to inject disinfectant, or people tell them to go out and take cattle wormer. I mean, I don't understand it. You would think they would want to protect themselves, their families, and I don't understand. They would rather just rebel against everything than live, I guess.
They would rather rebel against anything than live. Orange, all right, I think it's clear you're not a fan of President Trump. But, all right, do you have a question, or do you want me to just ask the professor here what he thinks?
Well, just ask the professor what he thinks.
All right, Linda, thank you. So there you go.
The professor's going to have to figure out what he thinks. I mean, there is it does appear as though, if you look at a map right now, the northeastern blue states have much less virus and infection than the southeastern and some of the western red states. I mean, that is a fact. I don't know if this parallel works or not. At the end of World War II, when Eisenhower came upon the concentration camps, he forced the Germans to go through and see what had happened in their name. And I don't want to force anybody to do anything, but I suspect that many of us, if we were to walk through hospital wards and see, how many people are so sick, I think we might change our opinions. And, it's sad. You have people like Phil Valentine. You have a number of, very prominent people who, practically from their deathbeds are trying to shout and say, we were wrong on this, get the shot, take care of yourself. So I share the frustration, but I don't think anybody wants to die. I just think, people are misled, and the irony, has not escaped me, that people will reject, the fruits of 200 years of science, and yet they'll go out and take a pill that you would give to a cow that you think has worms. I mean, that does not make a lot of sense.
It is this mistrust. And what is interesting is the vaccine was developed under President Trump. So he pushed, and it was developed under President Trump. And President Trump took the vaccine. He's made that clear. I was interesting you brought up Phil Valentine. Phil Valentine's brother said, Phil Valentine would have encouraged people to take it if he had gotten back on the radio. But he also said, I read that he said, this is really unfortunate. If Trump had won, then Democrats would be refusing to take the vaccine. In other words, is such a political, hyper-divided country that was his take on it. I don't know if that's true or not. I tend to think that's not true. But what do you think? That we're so divided? Yeah, this caller saying we just want to rebel.
Right. Look, there's a parallel, which was during the Cold War. It was often said that politics ended at the water's edge, which meant when it came to foreign policy, whatever internal squabbles we had, we were all against communism, the spread of communism. We were for the defense of Western Europe. And it's just too bad, and obviously, if you have different people, you're going to have differences of opinion. But public health issue, it's a shame that it has become a political issue. To me, it doesn't seem a very good hill to die upon.
Well, let's go to Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Uh-huh.
Go right ahead.
Hi, this is Lisa. I have a question. If your immune system, low immune system like me, and I've had part of a lung removed, I just had surgery for a blockage, over 100% blockage. I've had 6 surgeries on my stomach, and I have 2 doctors telling me do not take the vaccine. But
Listen
yet,
to your doctor.
I'm talking to people from other states, and like Louisiana, I have a friend there, and Walmart has mandated that you have to show proof of vaccination before you come in. How do you get around those things? You have to eat.
Right, right. I would think you can get a doctor's pass on that. But Professor, what are your thoughts on what she's saying?
Well, I mean, I feel for her, and that's why I think it's so important. You know, remember I said there are 2 exceptions that if they go to court would one of which would almost surely hold up. I don't think the government can force or should force anybody who's immunocompromised and whose doctors say this is the threat to them. I don't think they should be forced to do it. But all the more reason that people like me who have not had these surgeries and are not presumably immunocompromised should get our shots so that we can, she's in the same category as the children are, in the sense of you got a group there that cannot be vaccinated. We have to look out for them as adults. And I think the same is true for people like Lisa. It's our responsibility, if we can, not to pass it along to her.
All right, we're going to take a break. We are talking with Dr. John Weil, MTSU political science professor, dean of the Honors College. We will take a break, continue taking calls. What do you think about the mandate put down by the president requiring vaccinations for most American workers? Take a break. Be back right after this.